Gotta tell you this crazy story. All right, so I'll start off with James chapter 1 in verse 2. It says, "Count it all joy when you're going through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance or patience. But let that patience have a perfect work in you, that you might be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." So, how do you count it all joy going through a trial? And he says you can count it all joy because you're going to be mature and you're going to be thoroughly equipped and you're going to be able to handle anything that comes your way. However, having joy in a trial is not something that's easy. So I'm going to tell you this story. Crazy story. About 3 months ago, I was taking the wheels off my truck because I was going to be going out west on vacation to go four-wheeling up in the Colorado mountains on the mining trails. So I pulled my shoulder out, taking my wheels off my truck. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the pain was just unbearable. And I'm living on Advil. It's just a nightmare. So on top of that, I'm getting ready for my vacation, but I get COVID. And I'm knocked out with COVID. And I mean knocked out. I had a coughing fit doing the COVID. And I passed out. And I hit the floor and drove my glasses into my forehead. I got 8 stitches. A nightmare. And then that night I passed out again and didn't know it. I woke up on the floor. And I guess the coughing spells had caused me to pass out. And I didn't know that, but I looked into it. Sure enough, it happens. And then after that, I got a concussion. So I'm having nonstop dizzy spells. But I'm stubborn. I'm going on vacation. So I shoulder pain, recovering from COVID, dizzy spells, and I drive out to Colorado. And it was miserable because of all the pain I was in, all the suffering I was in. I get out to Colorado, I reach 11,500 feet altitude, and I get altitude sickness on top of everything else. And the Lord is saying that I'm supposed to count it all joy. Well, I tried to count it all joy, and I chose joy. And I said, Lord, I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy this. But the problem was, I can have joy, but I wasn't happy. I was miserable. I wasn't happy at all. And I kept saying, I'm going to count it joy. I'm going to count it joy. As soon as I get to Colorado, 11,500 feet, I got to turn around and come back home to Florida. Unbelievable. Just miserable and just in pain and agony and suffering. I get back to Florida and I go to the doctor, and I've got injections and all kinds of steroid injections for my shoulder. I've got high blood pressure. I've gone to the heart doctor, and it's just endless. But I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing joy. Lord, I choose joy. You told me to choose joy, but I wasn't happy. But I want to encourage you that, I'm on the mend. COVID's gone. Dizzy spells are gone. Blood pressure's down. Shoulder's getting better. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I just got to keep perspective. God is going to get me through it. He did. And I chose joy. I went through it. I wasn't happy, but I've learned things. One of the greatest things I've learned through all of this is to have greater compassion on those who suffer. Without my suffering, I wouldn't be able to really be burdened for those who do suffer. So just think about that. Count it all joy. Have a blessed day. I'm going to go now.